It has been 171 days since Russia began to invade the territory of Ukraine. In the face of the resistance of the heroic Ukrainian soldiers, the Russian troops did not achieve the desired success. When Putin started this war, he did not expect that he would experience such great political and economic effects. He considered Ukraine weaker than himself and did not think that he would be able to seize it in a short time and have such an impact on his own country. But he is experiencing quite a lot of difficulties in the face of the Ukrainian people and Ukraine's allies. Many countries of the world are affected economically and politically by this war, but the most affected and the biggest loser will undoubtedly be Russia. Many commentators even say that at the end of the war, perhaps before the end of the war, Putin will be ousted from his seat. The United States does not want the war to end now. He wants Russia, which has unjustly and ruthlessly invaded the territory of Ukraine with an attack and harmed its citizens, to be thoroughly worn out militarily and run out of power. For this, they continue to support Ukraine until the end. The United States and the United Kingdom provide continuous support to Ukraine, both in terms of intelligence and in terms of special military forces. Therefore, after the provision of US and UK intelligence support to the Ukrainian armed forces in Crimea, an operation was carried out on the Russian Air Force base in Crimea. Many aircraft at the Russian airbase have become unusable. The armed forces of Ukraine are carrying out special operations in the name of liberating the Crimea. There was no official statement from Putin and the Russian government about the operation. If he tells the airbase in Crimea that Ukraine has carried out an operation and damaged the airbase, Russia's weakness and inability to maintain its own base in Ukraine, such as not being able to own and protect its own base, will be revealed. This situation will be criticized all over the world. He will even be decried for failing to protect his own base within Russia, in the Kremlin and even among Russian citizens. Putin is not making a statement because he knows these reactions to come. In the days when we have come to the end of the 6th month of the war and the winter months are approaching, it is thought that the end of the war is coming. It is said that with the end of the Russian war in Ukraine, the Russian economy will collapse, and after the great military loss inflicted by Russia, the Russian regime will collapse and Putin will leave. Russia's plans for Ukraine, on the other hand, are trying to sever regions such as Zaporizhia, Kherson, Odessa, to sever Ukraine's connection with the Black Sea and ensure that Ukraine returns to a landlocked country. In other words, Russia's biggest plan in the war is now to somehow completely capture the southern cities of Ukraine and cut off its connection with the ports and the Black Sea. By seizing the southern cities of Ukraine, Russia wants to gain a political advantage and gain a major initiative in the Black Sea in the future. However, the Ukrainian armed forces are inflicting heavy losses on Russia with harsh operations in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions and preventing it from achieving its goals in that region. The Ukrainian army, which constantly conducts inspections in the region with Bayraktar UAVs from Turkey, destroys Russian ammunition depots with SIHAs when it detects them. Last week, the NASAMS air defense system from the United States achieved great success in the Kherson region. The United States has provided Ukraine with such power that its effects have had enormous consequences in the course of the war. Thanks to HIMARS missiles, they carried out very heavy operations. The United States has announced the largest aid package since the beginning of the war. $1 billion worth of weapons and ammunition will be provided. The weapons and ammunition will be shipped from the Pentagon's existing inventory. It was announced that there were no HIMARS missiles in this shipment. So far, 16 HIMARS missiles have been sent along with the support packages sent. It was said that these were sufficient in the present state of the war. After the support of the United States, a support package from the World Bank was also announced. The World Bank has announced that it will grant close to $5 billion in support. It was announced that the support will be used in health services, civil servants and pensions. The Minister of Economy of Ukraine announced that a loan will be received from the IMF until the end of the year. Ukrainian President Zelensky has released a video calling for a new approach to pressure and sanctions on Russian citizens from the United States and Western countries. In the video, Zelensky demanded that Russian citizens not be admitted to the European Union and banned from entering. The Kremlin reacted to this statement. Remarkable reports of ongoing shelling were found at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Ukraine's nuclear power plant energy company said that on Wednesday, Russian troops bombed 8 times, as a result of which the personnel working at the plant were injured. Energoatom said that checks of the plant should be carried out and that there may be leaks and that this could pose a risk to all citizens living in the area. He said the power plant would operate normally if there were no mishaps after checks of the plant. However, the Russian news agency claimed that the nuclear power plant facility in occupied Zaporizhzhia was shelled by Ukrainian soldiers. The Russian government realized that the attack on the nuclear power plant created a very great crime and danger and tried to put the blame on Ukraine, but it was learned that the commanders who made the decision to attack the region were removed from their posts. None of the allegations have been independently verified. It is known that the attack on the nuclear power plant was commissioned by the Russian military. Ukrainian officials on Wednesday accused Russia of firing rockets from the vicinity of the seized facility, killing at least 10 people and injuring 20, the ministry said in a statement. He did not carry out an operation against the Ukrainian government because he said that the area where the Russian soldiers opened fire was a risky place and that bombing there could have a big impact. Calling on his Western allies to send more powerful weapons, Zelensky said in a video speech at midnight that Kiev's attacks on the Dnipropetrovsk region of today's Russian army will not go unrequited and promised to inflict the maximum possible damage on Russia in order to end the war. He said this could happen in a shorter period of time with the support from his allies. He said he was grateful to the countries that have continued their support to this day. The United Nations European Coordinator Antonio Guterres on Friday called for an end to the military clashes near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine, the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. I urge the Russian government and the armed forces of Ukraine to immediately stop all military work in the immediate vicinity of the facility and not to target risk-bearing areas such as the nuclear facility, the statement said. Explosions at the Russian airbase in Crimea on Thursday destroyed about 10 Russian aircraft in hangars and injured 15 people, and dozens of surrounding buildings were damaged, the Ukrainian Air Force said. Political officials in Ukraine have said they carried out the attack themselves, but Kiev has not publicly claimed responsibility. One expert said it was a planned raid rather than a missile strike. The Sakhayi Russian airbase in western Russian-administered Crimea has been rocked by the latest explosion, killing 1 person. The runways of the base appear to be intact, but at least 10 aircraft appear to have been damaged or destroyed. Satellite images released by U.S. intelligence show the old and up-to-date state of the base, showing large areas of burnt land left over from the exploding fires.